Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is a brief disclaimer for this video for today. I had posted this video last night. However, around 4 hours into the video, I got a copyright strike for playing this clip and it got removed from YouTube. This is the famous Larry Fink video of him talking about crypto being digital gold and Bitcoin being an international asset. For those of you that didn't see this video, I am reposting it without this clip. I played it around 50 seconds into the original video I posted, and I'm sure plenty of you guys are smart enough to figure out what was intended and where I cut the clip out. I'm reposting this specifically for everyone that didn't get to see it. And for those of you that did, there will be another video later tonight. Thank you to every single one of you. Now on to the content. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today, as I've been sitting back from afar witnessing the complete 180 in the sentiment of the crypto market. Watcher Guru posted how it started versus how it's going. In the past, the Blackrock CEO Larry Fink called Bitcoin an index of money laundering. And now, Larry Fink is saying crypto is digitizing gold and Bitcoin has the power to revolutionize finance. This is a clip that has been going viral in the crypto space, and I'm sure plenty of you have already seen it. But I'm gonna play it again so I could give you my 2 cents about the reality of what's going on. See, ladies and gentlemen, Blackrock is conveniently positioning themselves in a way to make their spot Bitcoin ETF as attractive to retail investors as possible. You see, I have a saying that goes, if Fink is pumping, Blackrock is dumping. And the reason I say this is not because I don't think Blackrock is long-term bullish on crypto, but it's because right now I believe there will be a short-term crypto pump. They're going to FOMO the masses in, try and get as much capital in the market as possible from the dumb money retail investors. And then ultimately, I do expect them to sell on retail's head. Retail investors are the exit liquidity for the billionaires and trillion-dollar institutions, and I can't stress this enough. Million-dollar swings happen in crypto's portfolios, and they always sell on retail when the news is positive for crypto. Why the hell is Larry Fink changing his tune? It's not to help any of us. It's to try and get us where he wants us. Never forget that they try and move us in the direction they want us to go. And when you're operating on that wavelength, no one can stop you. I believe they want retail to FOMO in into the next month for the inevitable September-October crash I have been calling for. And then once that happens, institutions buy it up at dirt cheap prices. See, Blackrock buys pennies on the dollar. Retail buys at an absolute premium. Never forget it. I've learned the lessons the hard way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in the same breath, I have some very positive news to share. This clip from Don Fitzpatrick, CEO and Chief Investment Officer at Soros Fund, talks about the massive opportunity that incumbents have to come into the crypto space. Incumbents come into the crypto space at rock bottom levels. Remember this. It's no accident that while FTX and Terra Luna was collapsing, they were building out infrastructure. They just saw what Blackrock did, and we just discussed this. And I can't stress enough to watch what they do and not to listen to what they say.
Just long held and simple norms about how you treat customer assets, for example. And what I think crypto is here to stay. I think what's happened is clearly a setback. But right now, I actually think it's a huge opportunity for the incumbent financial firms to actually take the lead.
The ones that are already regulated and run, for example, regulated exchanges.
Yeah, and know how to segregate client assets and yeah. So I think that is what's going to happen. On kind of
Wouldn't that be ironic, though, given the disruption that crypto promised?
Yeah, there is some irony to it, and I'm yeah, it is ironic, but I think that is going to be the evolution.
According to Dawn, this SEC assault is a huge opportunity for the incumbents. When she says incumbent, she means the big banks. Notice that she gives Gary Gensler's argument almost verbatim. Exchanges are commingling funds and there's a need to segregate client assets. Well, the legacy banks, the incumbents, are already equipped to handle such tasks. There's a reason Gensler did a 180 from teaching blockchain at MIT to parroting the incumbents. This downturn in crypto is for them to make their move, to cause destruction and swoop in. They control the SEC. She laughs at the idea of an ironic outcome. They love inversions. Down with the banks. The freedom of decentralization is now going to merge with the centralized powers that be.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's like clockwork, because there are no coincidences in the way they release information. There's no coincidence that with Blackrock talking like this, and with the video that you just saw, and with Fednow launching July 20th, that the elites are not planning exactly what they want. Fednow is going to be the elite's answer in the United States to crypto. And while there will be some cryptos that will work in harmony with the CBDC system, with the Fednow system, and with the future financial system, if you're not positioned correctly for it, you're gonna miss out. Here, Anders Lundberg posted, read these 4 slides from Bob Way so you could read the bigger picture. Remember, I posted this a couple months ago stating, I'm not sure I can add a lot of insight, and I'm sure things have changed a lot. But just for clarity, ISO 20022 is way bigger than you might think at first. It replaces the previous Swift standards MT and MX and adds a lot of their things. The reason this transition is extremely helpful to Ripple's bank sales team is this means that every bank is required to implement new technology. Banks hate to change an already working process, and change can introduce new problems, which means bankers get fired. This is the #1 reason most bank integrations don't happen. New system development is expensive and risky, and mistakes can generate bank losses or fines. Bankers get fired. The person you're negotiating with must have product budget, a risk appetite, and development budget. But with a mandatory 20022 change happening, the person who you're negotiating with only needs to have a product budget. That being said, bank software sales are still a hard process, especially with the SEC lawsuit still adding FUD to the process. But even if banks wait for a settlement, their 20022 upgraded system becomes much easier for Ripple to integrate with. The biggest impact is going to be that even smaller banks are going to be upgrading their systems. That creates a much larger pool of on-demand liquidity compatible banks. I'll repeat, that creates a much larger pool of on-demand liquidity compatible banks. Smaller banks get the most benefit from on-demand liquidity. It lets them cut the larger correspondent banks out of their flow and costs. And for those of you wondering who Bob Way is, he was one of the first 10 employees at Ripple. His credibility and his word mean something. And what I'll stress to every single one of you is this. People say, oh, dates come and go and you keep pushing back deadlines. Nonsense. We in this community report when major updates happen. ISO went live. I said it was absolutely massive, and people incorrectly expected a moon mission on those days. What you need to understand is when dates come and go that we report on, like ISO going live and like Fednow going live, what that means is there's infrastructure in place for the inevitable rollout and accelerated adoption of XRP once the flip of the switch moment comes for it. You need to understand that things need to be in place before they could just quote unquote flip a switch. And like Bob Boy said with ISO Live, it's going to be much easier for Ripple to integrate with all these banks that have been mandated to upgrade their tech. XRP is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And if you're not seeing it yet, I hope you will. Here from Mr. Man XRP. He shows this, that the industry is still a ways away from capitalizing on ISO 20022. ISO is being implemented in the US in the same way as other countries around the world. The clearinghouse already has proofs of concept for cross-border payments. And while this has been a gradual process, once this lawsuit is over and they open the floodgates, you'll be glad you were positioned in this financial revolution.
Of ISO is moving. The industry is still a ways away from really being able to fully utilize and leverage ISO 20022, but we see the benefits on a day-to-day basis. And as the industry starts to adopt and you start to see them talking about the benefits that they get, you're going to start to see a real acceleration of that in the business community, especially the upper end of the business community. And then just one last thing I wanted to mention with respect to what Dan said. We are implementing the ISO standard in the US in the same way that it's been implemented in different countries around the world and by different operators around the world. That's something that this industry has never done, at least as long as I've been involved in it. And by leveraging those same standards for real-time payments country to country, we are going to wind up seeing instant cross-border payments in the near future. We've already got proof of concepts that have tested the ability to do that. And it's something that, again, we're going to be continuing to build on. But the foundation for that is the instantaneous settlement model and very, very much so the deployment of ISO 20022 standards.
And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. ISO will be accelerating. ISO is live at the moment. Fednow on standby July 20th. Blackrock is positioning itself. Watch what they do. Don't listen to what they say. They do give leaks and important info for you to follow. And ultimately, it's up to you to understand how to read the reptilian language. Decipher the lizard talk, my friends, and you'll make it to the other side, the new 1%. Now, guys, to cap off this video for today, we have David Schwartz, the Ripple CTO, letting us know that XRP is getting ready to be quantum resistant. It is one of the things that the XRP ledger will be looking to implement once quantum computing continues accelerating. And it's something that the forward-thinking Ripple and David Schwartz is letting us know in order to give us more confidence that XRP will eventually be future-proof. Quantum computing will be a major threat down the road, and you should have confidence with this team in place that we're going to be ready for it. Now I'm going to play you this clip to cap off this video for today. But before I let you guys go, I have to remind every single one of you that in my last video I released and dropped the Genesis drop of my aggressively average apparel store with my personal favorite, the Fuck the SEC shirt. We have an XRP 589 shirt and my personal slogan, an aggressively average shirt. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 110% complete American-made brand, and something that I believe represents everything the XRP community has been through. More designs will be dropping in the future as well. And if you're interested in joining the movement, the link to the store is down in the description below. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
Go ahead. I have a question. We probably have soon quantum computers. Are your algorithms ready for that in Ripple?
For what computers? Sorry?
Quantum computers.
It's a good question. So we have to keep our eye open. We do have ways to evolve the algorithms so we can swap out the algorithms if we get to that point. We keep a very close eye on that technology, as everybody who does encryption and digital signatures have to. I hope we still have about 8 more years before we really have to get aggressive about it. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, we do follow the technology as everybody has to. Everybody in cryptography, everybody who deals with electronic security. These systems are dependent on cryptography. They're dependent on secure hashes. They're dependent on digital signatures, and we have to make sure that the algorithms that they use are resistant against attackers who are willing to potentially spend millions of dollars to break the system. So yeah, we will have to evolve the algorithms, definitely. A lot of people will say, well, why don't you change the algorithms now? Like, why don't you, ahead of time? It's kind of like turning the steering wheel on your car when the curve's still 50 miles ahead. You might do the wrong thing. It's hard to know, what are quantum computers going to look like? What algorithms are they going to break and how badly? What are going to be the best algorithms to resist them? If we switch too early, we might find that we just have to switch again. So there's a matter of finding the right time, and I think we still have a couple of years. But yeah, we have to be ready. We absolutely do have to be ready. We have to follow the literature. And we also have to worry because we don't know what an attacker might have that is not in the literature. So I'm sure the NSA is a couple of years ahead of what we know about, and I'm sure foreign governments might potentially interfere with these systems as the amount of money they hold goes into the billions of dollars. So yeah, we have a huge bug bounty. We have a huge security bounty of potentially millions or billions of dollars. So yes, very concerned about that.
Why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple. Who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America? Ripple. Who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple. A former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple. Leading Australia's CBDC effort? Ripple. Who hired a former Treasury of the United States? Ripple. 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board? Ripple. 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors? Former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany? Former business director at Swift? Former Swift board member? Former CFO of PayPal? Former head of the DTCC? Former chief business officer at Uber? Former VP of Amazon and former SEC chair on their legal team? Ripple. Who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's high-level advisory board on fintech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, Worldwide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website? Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.